Hip-hop is undeniably the most pervasive and influential genre in North America and many parts of the world today. Its content and style have unquestionably transformed since the pioneering days of the Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow, and Run DMC. Many would agree that the genre experienced much progression following the old school days of the 1980s. Rappers during the 90s including Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G., Outkast, Nas, and Jay-Z explored lyricism, storytelling, and musicality in unprecedented fashion. In the 2000s, Eminem, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West were among some of the most notable hip-hop acts that helped remodel the meaning of rap music. The 2010s introduced household names such as Drake, Nicki Minaj, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, who have all contributed to pushing the limits and threshold of what a rapper could be. In recent years, the impact of trap music in particular has catapulted a swath of new artists into the forefront. Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, 21 Savage, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion are some of the most visible, to name a few. Music listeners often question how these newcomers hold up against their predecessors, which begs the question, has popular rap music stagnated? Has it regressed? In this video, we will illustrate how new mainstream rappers seem to be contributing to the degradation of hip-hop rather than its advancement. We will compare and contrast the most successful selling MCs of today to the ones of the past 20 years. So without further ado, let's begin. At the 2021 Billboard Music Awards, DaBaby, Drake, Juice WRLD, Lil Baby, and Pop Smoke were all nominated for Top Rap Artist. According to Billboard, nominees and winners are based on fan interactions with music, including album and digital song sales, streaming, radio airplay, touring, and social engagement, tracked by Billboard and its data partners, including MRC data. It's notable to mention Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, who were nominated for Top Rap Female Artist and have respectively amassed #1 hits on the Hot 100. In 2020, Roddy Ricch and Lil Nas X were nominated along with Post Malone, who took home the award. Other famous rappers of the past several years include Lil Uzi Vert, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, A Boogie with the Hoodie, and Polo G. Consequently, music critics and hip-hop enthusiasts frequently express their weariness towards the current state of rap music. Common criticism highlights the lack of lyricism, superficial content, and the overall homogeneous nature of the genre. Moreover, fans point to the obvious imitative styles of modern rappers. Some include Lil Uzi Vert's appropriation of Lil Wayne, or Roddy Ricch's painfully similar artistry to Young Thug. To offer some more context, here are the XXL freshman lists of the past 3 years. Now, you might be wondering, what is it about these artists that pale in comparison to their forerunners? To best illustrate this case, we will travel back to 2 separate decades, beginning with the 2010s. At the end of every decade, Billboard magazine comprises a list of the best-selling albums of the past 10 years. Between 2010 and 2019, the most successful rap albums were as followed: Eminem's Recovery, Lil Wayne's The Carter 4, Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday, all of Drake's LPs including Take Care, Thank Me Later, Nothing Was the Same, and Views, Macklemore's The Heist, Kanye and Jay-Z's Watch the Throne, Kanye's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid Mad City, and J. Cole's 2014 Forest Hills Drive. By merely using this chart as a metric for the cultural landscape, it's safe to say that hip-hop was in good hands. But what is it about these rappers that differs so immensely from the newcomers? Let's begin by focusing on those introduced in the 2010s. Firstly, all of the rookies of the 2010s brought a definitive and identifiable persona to the genre. Whether it was Nicki Minaj's charismatic alter egos, Drake's penchant for melody and clever wordplay, J. Cole's captivating storytelling, or Kendrick Lamar's profound and introspective lyricism, it was impossible to mistake one for the other. It's important to mention Big Sean, Wale, Wiz Khalifa, A$AP Rocky, Travis Scott, Future, Young Thug, Post Malone, 2 Chainz, Meek Mill, and Chance the Rapper for also shaping the genre in fresh and innovative ways. During this era, we enjoyed hit singles that were irresistible and transcended the often common critique of shallowness in hip-hop music. For example, when speaking on the 2013 single Bad, Wale stated the inspiration behind the song was a woman trying to find herself by means of intimacy. She hasn't really discovered what she wants out of love or lust. On Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pools, released in 2012, the rapper explores alcoholism and the relentlessness of peer pressure. In 2010, Nicki Minaj released the celebratory anthem Moment for Life, featuring Drake, which covers themes of triumph and embracing the present. The 2010s were laced with numerous hits covering an array of subjects, from Drake's 2018 female empowerment anthem Nice for What, to J. Cole's 2013 uplifting ode Crooked Smile. On the 2012 single Same Love, Macklemore covered gay rights and the taboo subject of homophobia in hip-hop. Let's not forget Wiz Khalifa's See You Again, Eminem's Love the Way You Lie, Childish Gambino's This Is America, and Kendrick Lamar's Humble, all of which reached Billboard Hot 100's #1 spot. Now, we shouldn't be mistaken into believing the 2010s didn't have its fair share of superficial songs. In fact, they were ubiquitous. Who doesn't remember the 2015 smash Trap Queen by Fetty Wap? Or how about the 2017 Black Beatles by Ray Shremmerd? Also, no one can forget records like Bad and Bougie by the Migos or Panda by Designer. Even the most lauded rappers mentioned earlier had their hand in frivolous music. After all, rap music shouldn't be limited to songs that are meaningful or inspiring. However, the praiseworthiness of last decade's hip-hop is attributed to the level of balance in the music content, skill, and artistry. Apart from the unique personalities and diversity of subject matter, the 2010s were exceptional because rappers were fiercely competitive. Regardless of a song's concept, audiences were accustomed to verses packed with charisma, lyrical precision, and brilliant punchlines. Collaborative singles were especially amusing for fans, as they would often spark debates about who had the best performance. This is evident on songs including Problems by A$AP Rocky featuring Drake, 2 Chainz, and Kendrick Lamar, Mercy by Kanye West, Big Sean, Pusha T, and 2 Chainz, All Me by Drake featuring Big Sean and 2 Chainz, and most notably, the iconic Monster by Kanye West, Rick Ross, Jay-Z, and Nicki Minaj. Many of these rappers deliberately aimed at being the best in the genre, which ultimately provided listeners with extraordinary music during the 2010s. September 11, 2007 marked a pivotal day in hip-hop music history. On this seemingly typical Tuesday, Kanye West and 50 Cent both released their third studio albums. The days and weeks leading up to the final release were filled with anticipation as fans were riveted with the competitive nature of the album rollouts. Ultimately, West's album Graduation seized the top spot, selling nearly 1 million copies in its first week. The contrasting styles of both rappers is emblematic of popular rap music's diversity in the 2000s. Though Kanye's signature polo and backpack attire served as a direct antithesis to 50 Cent's macho gangster persona, both rappers thrived during this decade while maintaining their sense of originality. The best-selling rap albums of the 2000s were as followed: Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP and The Eminem Show, Nelly's Country Grammar and Nellyville, 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' and The Massacre, Outkast's Speakerboxx, The Love Below and Stankonia, Ja Rule's Pain is Love, DMX's And Then There Was X, and Kanye West's The College Dropout and Late Registration. Some of the most popular rappers introduced in the 2000s, not already mentioned, include Ludacris, T.I., Lil Wayne, The Game, Fabulous, and Young Jeezy. Unlike modern artists, these stars experimented with various sounds and rapping techniques, providing audiences with noticeably different material. For example, Nelly's Country Grammar sounds nowhere similar to Ride With Me. Try playing 50 Cent's In the Club side by side with Wanksta, and you'll hear two distinguishable records. This same test can be applied to everyone previously mentioned. Similar to the 2010s, this decade was ripe with tunes that provided substance to listeners. During these years, audiences received the 2002 single Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem, where the MC reveals his traumatic childhood abuse. In 2000, Outkast released the instant classic Miss Jackson about a hostile relationship between two former lovers. And of course, 2004's All Falls Down by Kanye West covers a multitude of societal issues such as materialism, personal insecurities, and racism. On Runaway Love, Ludacris raps about domestic violence, while The Game and 50 Cent reflect on growing up in the inner city on Hate It or Love It. It was also this decade that we received the singles 99 Problems, where Jay-Z details a story about racial profiling by police, and everyone remembers Nas's 2002 self-empowerment anthem I Can, where he highlights the common neglected history of Africa on the third verse. Again, one shouldn't be misled into believing the 2000s were free from meaningless hip-hop records. After all, everyone remembers the Southern Snap era that became inescapable mid-decade. The difference between the rappers that enjoyed such success then compared to now is that audiences in the 2000s were entirely aware that none of them were rap superstars. In other words, the singles themselves transcended the visibility of the artist. Another remarkable characteristic of 2000s hip-hop was the ever-present thematic structure rappers conveyed in their songs. Artists provided a level of continuity and cohesion throughout the lyrics, irrespective of a record's subject matter. For instance, on Kanye's 2005 hit Gold Digger, each bar contributes to the overall narrative about women who take advantage of wealthy men. The single, famous for its satirical storytelling, demonstrates the diligence of lyrical composition. Jay-Z's 03 Bonnie and Clyde, 50 Cent's 21 Questions, Eminem's The Way I Am, and Ludacris's Get Back are just a few songs that follow a definitive thematic structure. Some others include Always on Time by Ja Rule, Slow Jams by Twista and Kanye West, Swagger Like Us by T.I., Soul Survivor by Young Jeezy, and Into You by Fabulous. This commitment to lyrical continuity is much harder to find in today's rap music and shouldn't be overlooked. Often, modern hip-hop storytelling proves to be inconsistent or outright incoherent. As a result, listeners find it challenging to identify what a song is actually about. The lyric choice of new rappers is frequently arbitrary when compared to the meticulous approach of former MCs. This is clear, especially on collaborations, as rappers nowadays haphazardly commit to the subject matters of songs they guest star on. In contrast, features in the 2000s were lyrically and thematically relevant. Just listen to Jay-Z's verse on Amy Winehouse's Rehab, or Ludacris's feature on Glamorous by Fergie. Some other examples of thoughtful verses include Ja Rule's collaboration with Mary J. Blige on Rainy Days, Kanye West's contribution to Estelle's American Boy, and Lil Wayne's addition to Destiny's Child's Soldier. The attention to detail and overall commitment to excellence of rappers during the 2000s is what makes their music so timeless. Considering all that's been mentioned, one shouldn't believe that modern hip-hop music is void of quality artists or songs. This is actually far from the truth. Instead, the case being made is about the most popular and inescapable versions of the genre. In recent years, rappers including Anderson .Paak, Tierra Whack, Cordae, Denzel Curry, Goldlink, Vince Staples, Brockhampton, Freddie Gibbs, IDK, Duckworth, Smino, Ski Mask the Slump God, Jid, along with countless others, have shown promise that hip-hop continues to have room for growth and innovation. Unfortunately, many of these artists, though successful in their own right, aren't recognized by the masses. If music listeners want popular rap's trajectory to successfully progress, it is up to us to use the multiple streaming platforms as the democratic tools they intend to be. Perhaps the current state of hip-hop will be remembered as just a blip in the overall history of the genre. Or, more concerning, the current landscape can also be a sign of an ever-growing complacency that will be difficult to overcome. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts about the current state of hip-hop? Do you agree or disagree with the sentiments provided? Lastly, who are some of your favorite rappers of the past 20 years?